Data is the oil of the digital age. Every click, every comment, every view leaves a data footprint. You might think it's just a number, but in the vast ocean of data, your footprint is a pearl. It glitters, it shines, and most importantly, it has a value. A value that, if properly exploited, can bring great profits to others. And the scariest part, you won't even notice it. That's the invisible theft of this era. In the second half of the 20th century, if you wanted to define an individual, you would look at their origin, family, work. Today, however, after years of digital transformation, the answer to who someone is can be found in another dimension, the virtual dimension. Here, data is king. Data is the new money. Data is the new truth. How many friends do you have? How many photos did you post? How much did you spend last month? All those pieces of information form the puzzle of your life, and sometimes it feels like we've been handing the pieces of this puzzle to others, unknowingly allowing them to assemble it. So here's the question: is this era still ours? The era of 100-hour workweeks, instant messaging, video calls, and infinite streams of information? Or has the 21st century already been hijacked by algorithms, by systems that know us better than we know ourselves? What is the cost of this efficiency? What are we giving up by chasing speed? Have we already reached the point where we trade our authenticity just to save a few minutes? Or are we still in time to turn back before everything changes irreversibly? The virtual mirror, do we still recognize our reflection? The 21st century is defined not just by technological inventions, but by how technology redefines humanity itself. If in the pre-modern era, a person's identity was tied to their lineage, land, and religion, today, in the digital age, identity is shaped by data. The images we post, the statuses we write, our search history, and even the steps we take daily. Even love stories today are made online, virtual romance born from messages, pictures, and videos. However, what is curious is that this virtual version of us created by data, is it really ours? Or is it the reflection of a shadow? When we post a picture, are we not carefully selecting the angle, lighting, and filters to present a perfect version of ourselves? Today, the Instagram face is no longer rare. Changing the shape of eyebrows, eyelashes, eyes, and lips has become so commonplace that it's almost a ritual. It's a ritual that's no longer about enhancing beauty, but about conforming to an ideal that's being constantly rebuilt by the system. But why? Why do we do this? Because somewhere deep down, we know that this constructed image is the one that the world wants to see. It's the image that gets more likes, more comments, more shares, and ultimately brings us more satisfaction. However, this desire for approval, this desire to be seen, to be validated, is it truly ours, or is it something that's being implanted in us? A craving for instant gratification. Even our memories, which should be the purest and most genuine moments in life, are no longer just for us. It's common to hear people say, "Don't forget to post your pictures." Suddenly, the moment, if not shared, doesn't feel like it happened. It's almost as if we are living for the sake of recording. And in this world where everything is recorded, we begin to live differently. We become more cautious, quieter, and more compliant. Invisible surveillance creates obedient but no longer free citizens. A society where everyone is afraid to speak the truth or act authentically gradually leaves only shadows. The illusion of choice. Are we still the masters of our lives? You're looking at your smartphone, aren't you? Well, this device that fits in your pocket has already revealed a lot about you. Your age, income, profession, location, interests, and even mood. Almost all of this information is gathered passively, often without your knowledge. The phone knows where you go, where you stay, and what you talk about because it listens to your conversations. It sees who you meet and what you order. It knows your tastes and preferences because it collects your search history. It even understands your emotions based on your voice, tone, and the length of your pauses. But you might say, "I don't mind." What's wrong with that? After all, thanks to this, you get quick answers, convenient services, and recommendations tailored to your interests. But is that really all there is? Because data collected isn't just numbers. It's a reflection of your soul, your thoughts, your dreams, and your fears. It's you. But data like that is too valuable to be wasted. So it's sold, exchanged, and used to build a picture of you that's often more complete than the one you yourself have. And you might say, "I have nothing to hide." But think about this. If your whole life story is laid bare, would you still feel the same way? If your deepest fears, your most intimate moments, and your most private conversations are public knowledge, would you still feel comfortable with it? Data theft is happening around you, quietly, invisibly. It's like a thief in the house while you're watching TV, eating, or sleeping. He doesn't need to break in, steal your valuables, or force you to open your safe. Because in this era, you open your safe willingly. You share your passwords and passcodes with every app, with every website, with every virtual assistant. You do it because it's faster, easier, and more convenient. You do it because you trust the system. But that trust, that convenience, it comes at what cost? You log on to a shopping website and search for a pair of shoes. The next day, your newsfeed is filled with ads for the same shoes. You watch a YouTube video about traveling to Europe, and suddenly you see ads for plane tickets everywhere. You start talking to a friend about buying a car, and suddenly you receive marketing calls non-stop. The invisible machinery is always on. It's always listening and recording. And when it finds what it needs, it uses that information to make you buy, to make you spend, to make you consume. This is the new consumerism. It's not about sales anymore. It's about selling. It's about using your own desires against you. It's about exploiting your own choices. Do we still live in a free world, or have we traded our freedom for the illusion of choice? Do we still control our lives, or are we just puppets dancing to the tune of algorithms? Think about your social media accounts. They know your demographics, your education level, your occupation, your political views, and your spending habits. Every like, every share, every comment shapes a picture of you that's more precise than anything you could have imagined. And then when you think you are expressing your opinion, it's the opinion of the system that echoes back to you. You think you're choosing your friends, but the system is choosing your friends. You think you're following your favorite artists, but the platform is deciding who you follow. You think you're exploring the world, but you're only seeing what the system wants you to see. Invisible chains. Have we already been shackled? We live in a paradoxical era. On one side, there are countless channels talking about freedom. On the other, there are giants that collect information about you, predicting your actions and controlling your choices. Are we still the masters of our lives, or have we already been shackled by invisible chains? Think about the information you give away with every click, with every purchase, with every login, your personal details, banking information, browsing history, and even your biometrics. In exchange for what? For the chance to play a game, read an article, or watch a video. You willingly give up a part of yourself, a part that you probably don't even recognize anymore. And once that information is out there, you can't take it back. How many of you have been denied a loan or a job just because of a bad credit score or online reviews? How many of you have been judged or stereotyped just because of what you VA'd written online or because of your digital footprint? In this era, the past is not behind you. It's inside your device. It's inside your apps. It's inside the cloud. It's inside the system, and the system knows very well how to use it. When we start to think that this is normal, that it's okay, that it's just how things are done, that's when the real danger lies. Because when we accept the absurd as normal, we are essentially giving up our freedom. So the question arises, how long will it take for us to wake up? How long will it take for us to realize that the biggest threat to humanity in this era is not nuclear war, not climate change, but ourselves? Because we are the ones who are voluntarily handing over the keys to our future, our freedom, and ultimately our lives. We are the ones who are building our own chains, comfortable, safe, and soundproof chains. Chains that promise convenience and security, but ultimately lead to dependence. Chains that promise progress and connectivity, but ultimately lead to isolation. Chains that promise freedom, but ultimately lead to obedience. The question is, when will we realize that we are the ones holding these chains? And even more important, will we dare to break them? Because the fight for freedom in the 21st century is not fought in the streets, not with weapons, not with protests. It is fought with clicks, taps, and touches. It is fought with our choices, our habits, and our addictions. It is fought with our willingness to be free or our tendency to surrender. The challenge for each of us is to choose to disconnect from the system, to say no to unnecessary information, to rediscover the joy of silence, to embrace the uncertainty of true freedom, and to learn to think for ourselves again. Because the battle for privacy, for freedom, is not just fought by politicians, scientists, or activists. It is fought by every one of us, with every decision we make, every click we avoid, and every choice we defend.